Dear Mr. Renz, I chose your site as the first to take this important and very disturbing information because you are one of the few who keeps questioning your government about the terrible events of Tuesday, September 11th. Those so-called victim lists were published by the big news agencies from the 12th September 2001 onwards. Those lists were never complete. Even more astonishing, the hijackers were never mentioned on those lists. That made me curious, and I wanted to find out exactly who was on those planes. Within 48 hours, the FBI made public the names of 19 hijackers, but the FBI never released the complete passenger list. Fortunately, people in the United States started to create net sites to honor those lost on the planes. On those sites, people were invited to make contributions to those who perished. With that information, I succeeded in assembling the complete lists. As I said, the numbers were given straight away by United Airlines and American Airlines. Flight 11, 81 passengers, 9 flight attendants, 2 pilots, total 92 persons. Flight 175, 56 passengers, 7 flight attendants, 2 pilots, total 65 persons. Flight 77, 58 passengers, 7 flight attendants, 2 pilots, total 64 persons. Flight 93, 37 passengers, 4 flight attendants, 2 pilots, total 44 persons. On the 11th of September, United Airlines gave a total number of 45 persons. This was corrected the 12th after United Airlines learned that one passenger had purchased 2 tickets. This led the airline initially to report that there were 45 people on board when there were, in fact, 44 people on board. Very strange. See the site below. These numbers were never later disputed, not by the FAA or the FBI, so we suppose these numbers are correct. The FBI gave the names of 19 hijackers. 5 of them were on board Flight 11, 5 on board Flight 175, 5 on board Flight 77, and 4 on board Flight 93. As I said, those names were never on any published passenger list. Of course, they must be on the original passenger manifest, as the FBI knows. This means if we count all the names on the published passenger list and we add the hijackers on board of each plane, we get the total number given above of persons on those planes. I hope you agree. I started a search on the internet for those passenger lists. Practically all news agencies copied the list published initially by the Associated Press. This list was updated several times, but it still contained many mistakes, double counting, etc. But with help of some victim sites made by the friends of the victims themselves, I managed to get all the names. To see the list, check on the attachment. There are the complete passenger lists of the 4 planes that crashed on the 11th of September 2001. Without the hijackers' names, this is the first time you will see the correct lists. I assure you these lists are the correct lists. You can check this easily. If you see another passenger list with different names, please type those names on the Google search engine and you will find out if he or she was on another plane or was a victim in the World Trade Center. Now I count. Flight 93, 40 persons plus the number of hijackers given by the FBI. This number matches the number above given by the airlines and the FAA, so this is correct. Flight 77, 59 persons plus the number of hijackers given by the FBI makes 64 persons. This number matches also, so this is correct. Flight 175, 58 persons plus the number of hijackers given by the FBI makes 63 persons. This number is not the same as given by the FAA and United Airlines. Flight 11, 89 persons plus the number of hijackers given by the FBI makes 94 persons. This number too is not the same as given by the FAA and American Airlines. So we have 2 numbers wrong following the FAA and American Airlines counts. There were 92 people on board Flight 11 that crashed into the North Tower. Following the FAA and United Airlines counts, there were 65 people on board Flight 175 that crashed into the South Tower. Nobody contested those numbers, neither did the FBI who has the original passenger manifest. This means the difference must be in the numbers of hijackers mentioned by the FBI. Mr. Mueller from the FBI and Ashcroft from the government are lying to the American people. Instead of 5, there were 7 hijackers on Flight 175. 58 persons plus 7 hijackers make 92. Instead of 5, there were 3 hijackers on Flight 11. 89 persons plus 3 hijackers makes 92. This has tremendous consequences. Why is the FBI lying? Could it be that Atta and Alamar didn't board Flight 11? That instead they boarded United Airlines Flight 175? Is this the reason Mr. Ashcroft refuses to release the original flight manifests? If there were 7 hijackers on Flight 175 and 3 on Flight 11, does that make any sense? Who was the pilot on Flight 11 before it crashed? Mr. Ashcroft, why are you lying? What is the government hiding? American people, demand the truth. Sincerely yours, Ron DeWitt. In closing, I'd like to start by thanking Ron DeWitt for his excellent research reporting. Ron DeWitt is medical oncologist, senior staff member of the Erasmus University Medical Center in the Netherlands. In today's program, I will share with you a little-known story that was reported on Wednesday, September 12, 2001. The day after the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center in New York. The story was reported by columnist Paulo Lima of the Bergen Record in New Jersey. The headline of the story read as follows. 5 men detained as suspected conspirators. About 8 hours after terrorists struck Manhattan's tallest skyscrapers, police in Bergen County detained 5 men who they said were found carrying maps linking them to the blasts. The 5 men who were in a van stopped on Route 3 in East Rutherford, New Jersey around 4:30 p.m. were being questioned by police but had not been charged with any crime late Tuesday. The Bergen County Police Bomb Squad x-rayed packages found inside the van but did not find any explosives, authorities said. However, sources close to the investigation said they found other evidence linking the men to the bombing plot. There are maps of the city in the car with certain places highlighted, the source said. It looks like they knew what was going to happen when they were at Liberty State Park. Sources also said that bomb-sniffing dogs reacted as if they had detected explosives. Although officers were unable to find anything, the FBI seized the van for further testing, authorities said. Sources said the van was stopped as it headed east on Route 3 between the Hackensack River Bridge and the Sheridan Hotel. As a precaution, police shut down Route 3 traffic in both directions after the stop and evacuated a small roadside motel near the Sheridan. Sources close to the investigation said the men said they were Israeli tourists, but police had not been able to confirm their identities. Authorities would not release their names. East Rutherford police stopped the van after the FBI's Newark office broadcast an alert asking surrounding police departments to look for a white Chevrolet van, police said. We got an alert to be on the lookout for a white Chevrolet van with New Jersey registration and writing on the side, said Bergen County Police Chief John Schmidig. 3 individuals were seen celebrating in Liberty State Park after the impact. They said 3 people were jumping up and down. The East Rutherford officers summoned the county police bomb squad, New Jersey state troopers, and FBI agents who waited alongside the van as prosecutors from the United States Attorney's Office tried to obtain a warrant to search the van late Tuesday, Schmidig said. Sources said the FBI alert, known as a BOLO or BOLO, be on lookout, was sent out at 3:31 p.m. It read, vehicle possibly related to New York terrorist attack, white 2000 Chevrolet van with New Jersey registration with Urban Moving System sign on back, seen at Liberty State Park, Jersey City, New Jersey, at the time of first impact of jetliner into the World Trade Center. 3 individuals with van were seen celebrating after initial impact and subsequent explosion. FBI Newark Field Office requests that, if the van is located, hold for prints and detain individuals. FBI spokeswoman Sandra Carroll declined to comment on the incident late Tuesday. New Jersey State Police Lieutenant Colonel Barry W. Roberson confirmed the traffic stop at a late-night news briefing at State Police headquarters in Trenton. He would not elaborate, however. Business records show the owner is Dominic Sutter of Fairlawn. A woman answered the telephone at Sutter's home, acknowledged he owned the company but refused to comment further. She also declined to identify herself. It was not clear Tuesday whether the van stopped by police is related to Sutter's company. A business traveler staying at the Homestead Studio Suites Hotel said she watched state troopers drive the suspects away in a procession of state trooper cars about 5 p.m. The woman who asked not to be identified said the people detained appeared to be white men, but she could not give more details. About 5:30 p.m., police evacuated the hotel without offering guests any explanation. First they said we could hang out in the lobby, but then they told us we had to leave, the traveler said. At 10 p.m., the hotel guest said she could see at least 2 police officers searching through the van while a crowd of other officers kept their distance. Except for police vehicles and a tow truck, the service road besides Route 3 was empty, she said. Staff writer Wendy Ruderman contributed to this report. Following 9/11, a further 60 Israelis were detained by authorities under the Patriot Anti-Terrorism Act, all for immigration violations. Many of them were active Israeli military intelligence personnel. A number of them failed polygraph examinations when questioned about espionage activity against the United States. The 3 dancing Israelis who were detained at Liberty State Park later appeared on an Israeli talk show and claimed to be documenting the event. CIA agent Robert Bauer confirmed their cameras were set up before the first plane struck. And another group of Israelis were caught with truck bombs around the George Washington Bridge. And a third group of Israelis were caught with a van that had a mural painted on the side literally depicting the 9/11 attack. Despite the weight of evidence implicating them in the attacks, all of the Israeli Mossad agents were sent back to Israel by the orders of Jewish-Israeli dual citizen Michael Chertoff, Attorney General for the Criminal Division of the Justice Department, later appointed Director of Homeland Security. Were the Israeli Mossad responsible for 9/11? Are the Israeli Mossad as ruthless and cunning with the capability to target United States forces and make it look like a Palestinian Arab terrorist attack? Has the 9/11 World Trade Center Commission report left out a great deal of the facts? There appears to be a mound of evidence here to proceed with an investigation into the possible terrorist plot that brought down the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. We have documented evidence written by columnists Paulo Lima and Wendy Ruderman of the Bergen Record. We even have the statement given by the Bergen County Police Chief, John Schmidick. And there is also the statement given by New Jersey State Police Officer Lieutenant Colonel Barry W. Roberson made at the Trenton, New Jersey headquarters office. This story has raised many questions that must be answered. I took the first step in my fact-finding mission and called the Bergen Record. I was told by the Human Resource Department that Paulo Lima and Wendy Ruderman no longer worked for the company. Being persistent, I asked the Human Resource Manager if there was anyone else I could talk to. She passed me on to someone who worked in the newsroom. I was then told that Paulo Lima had left the Bergen Record 2 years ago and Wendy Ruderman had left last year. I then called the Bergen County Police Department and found out that John Schmidick had retired in June. I was, however, able to contact Barry Roberson and was informed that the arrest did happen of the 3 individuals in Liberty State Park, but nothing came of it.
I am doing this case for one purpose, to make sure that our United States Constitution, the most important document in our country, is followed, whereas Barack Obama is trying to destroy it. The United States Constitution provides a provision for a candidate running for president that the person must be 35 years of age, live in this country for 14 years, and also be a natural-born citizen. Barack Obama is not a natural-born citizen and therefore not qualified to be a candidate or to be elected president of the United States. His paternal grandmother, who still lives in Kenya, is going around telling everyone that my grandson is going to become president of the United States, and she's so proud because she was in the delivery room in Kenya with Barack Obama's brother and sister, I guess half-brother and half-sister, when he was born in 1961. His half-sister Maya was interviewed, and she stated that he was born at one hospital in Hawaii. When Obama was interviewed, he said he was born in the other hospital in Hawaii. You know, when I represent criminals at times. You know, when you tell the truth, everything's the same. When you lie, you're all over the board. And I think those statements indicate that he really was not born here in the United States. It really doesn't matter if he was born in Hawaii or not, because if he was born here as a natural-born citizen, he lost his citizenship. How can you lose your United States citizenship? Well, what happened is Obama's mother divorced the father. After that, she remarried. She remarried Lolo Sotoro from Indonesia. They got married here in the United States. Significant at that time was Indonesia was at war. The only people who could go to school in Indonesia were people that were citizens of Indonesia. So therefore, his stepfather had to do one of two things to get him in school. He either had to adopt him or he had to acknowledge him. If he did either one, that's how he went to school. We have the school record indicating his name is Barry Sotoro, his nationality is Indonesia, and his religion is Islam. That's how he went to school there. Indonesia at that time did not provide for dual citizenships, so he was now a citizen of Indonesia. The only thing he could have done at that time when he came back, he could have gone through immigration to come back to the United States. We don't believe he did that. If he did do that, then he would be a naturalized citizen at that point, not natural born. Therefore, a naturalized citizen is not natural born, cannot be president of the United States.
You're fired.